Aho! 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 Lovely!
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. You're right now calling into me, Ring Dallin, and we're about to bring in the iconic LauraVision to talk about what is happening in the world of Eurovision right now. We are now done with the first rehearsals for everybody in the semifinals. We've seen the photos, we've seen some clips, and we're going to be talking about them very, very shortly. It's going to be exciting. Now, for those of you who are watching this in the distant future, wondering why don't you mention certain parts? Well, not everything has been shown. We have seen very little, only a few seconds of every performance, unless you're Switzerland, and we've seen kind of the whole thing. But now we are going to be going over what we have already, but I won't be doing this alone. So let's bring in Laura right now. How are you feeling today?
Hello, thanks for having me back again. Such an honor to be doing my first ever live YouTube video. I've never done a live broadcast before, so this is new to me.
This is, new for me also, like hosting this right now. I just want to let everybody know, if you have a comment, leave it in the comment section, and we might even bring it up on air. Like Super Sarah. Hey, okay, so hello. Georgia is my favorite so far. I can guarantee you we are going to be talking about Circus, Mircus shortly. But first, Laura, I have to ask, okay, we're in the Eurovision month. How does that feel for you?
It feels strange because of how quickly it's come around. Because I remember, national finals back in February, like Melody Grand Prix, and that was like 4 months ago. It felt like a month ago. So the whole thing has just come around so quickly. But no, it's great. I can't wait.
When you said 4 months, I was like, "That's
is it months? Yeah, it is 4 months.
Gone. Yeah, it's gone by so quickly, and it is nice to see because we've been seeing these rehearsals. Some of them are, copy paste. It's nice to see them bringing back their formula, but then also seeing all these new things happening.
Yeah.
It's really brought life to many songs, and I guess we have to start with semi-final 1. We've seen the clips, we've seen the photos, we've heard reactions and rumblings in the community, but we're now going to be talking about our favorites. We're going to be going over our top 5, and we're going to be wild. We're going to be starting at the very top. Now, Laura, do you want to kick us off with your favorite out of what we've seen so far from semi-final 1?
Okay, so I've got like a list of favorites, but then if I had to pick one ultimate favorite for me, it's Amanda Tenfjord from Greece. I love it. It's so good. I was hoping, they would do something good with the staging, and they have, from the looks of it, because I love her outfit. I love the blue colors, the blue lights coming down. It just looks really epic, and with the camera angles, there's going to be more to it. When we see the camera angles, it'll all come together even more. So definitely one to watch. I'm happy with it.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy you said that as your number 1. We haven't planned this out, but it's my number 1 as well. Greece is just on another level. I felt like when the clips came out, it was like this was the first that screamed at me as a Eurovision winner. It felt magical, and I want to point out a comment right here. Can we talk about how good the lights are on this year's stage? You know what? This is one of the best, from what we've seen. The lighting here is amazing. I love bringing in the flag. I love how they've done the elements, and I love just also like the interpretation with the staging. Like she has all these broken furnitures, all these broken chairs, but one is left standing that she's sitting on. She's staying strong. I think it is wonderful, powerful, and we've just seen like distance video. So imagine it on television, and also when we get the full thing, it looks iconic.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And I know, going back to the whole stage thing, you know, people are complaining about the stage with, you know, the arch that goes around. And yeah, it does look like a problem, but I actually think that if you look at all the pictures of the whole stage, and if you kind of step back from the wide angle, I think it actually looks okay. Like, I don't think it will be as bad as maybe we think it will be when you see everything on TV. So I'm hoping, you know, maybe I'm being too hopeful, but I'm hoping the stage will just look fine in the end.
Yeah, I also feel like for most of the acts, it shouldn't really be an issue. But I understand like the worry of like, okay, it's just standing there. It's not going to be doing anything. And for some acts, that can be like a bit damaging. It seems like a lot of acts are really similar in what they've done because they can't use that section. But I'm very hopeful, and I think it looks beautiful. And I haven't been like disturbed by any images of being like, this is a scandal. Again, I agree. It is good vibes all around. And also, the chat is agreeing. The chat is agreeing right now with Amanda Tenfjord. We love you too. And we are... It's wonderful. I feel like if Greece wins this year, it would be so deserved, and it looks just amazing. The song is one of the best produced this year, and and I also agree with the comment. Greece have everything: staging, performance, and vocals, and song, and everything. And Amanda Tenfjord is a great representative. So this, you know, we are kicking off with such a high right now, and I think this feels like a hype train. I feel like there's a hype train in the comments. So we won't forget you, Greece, but let's move on to my personal second place of this semi-final out of what we've seen. And that is Moldova. Moldova!
Oh, okay.
Sum this up, you know, here we have the train is, you know, going. It's so fun. I loved the energy. I loved the simplistic lighting and staging. And I just felt like it was so nice to just see them having so much fun. Their outfits looked great, and I felt like I instantly wanted to watch that performance. Whereas for others, which you know, might have looked, you know, stylistically a bit better, I didn't have that need to see it right away. But here I wanted to be in the party from the beginning. How do you feel about Moldova?
Okay, well, actually, I feel kind of bad for bringing down the whole mood, but I'm actually a bit worried about Moldova. It's one of the ones that I'm thinking, oh no, they might not qualify now, because there's just something about when I watched that rehearsal video, it just looks a bit too much. Like there's too much color, there's too much just all over the place. So I actually really love the song. Like, I really do like Moldova's song. But I'm just thinking, is it maybe a bit too much going on, and it'll just look too chaotic?
It's a really fair point. It's a really fair point. For me, it seems like it's controlled chaos in a way, but we don't know. So that's, you know, an interesting thing to bring up. And also it's close to very dark acts. It is very close to Netherlands, very close to Switzerland, which I think it will either be too much happening, or it will be the just right amount for people to be like, okay, you know, I'm on the board with this. I want more of this instead of the ballads. But it was actually on Norwegian television, there was the discussion about this song. I just want to point out, which felt like he talked about how he really understood there's a party going on, but he felt forced into it. Like, he didn't want to be at this party, but he had to be because of the music and because of how they brought him in. So maybe that also, if it's too hectic of a staging, then that could also be like a damaging factor. But I still have really like fell in love with what we've seen so far. And I really just like really hope for the best for Moldova. And before we go through, I just have to bring up a commentary from Vegard, who says, my top 2 of semi-final 1 after first rehearsals are Greece, you got great taste, my friend, and Norway, you got even better taste, my friend.
You got
so he's got it right now. So as a Norwegian, I'm happy with what I've seen so far. Austria and Portugal also looks promising. We're going to be talking about those later on, but there is so much promise in the world right now. Then we have Eat Your Salad Plug One. You know what? you know us. You know us. If we're doing a stream, we have to talk about Eat Your Salads. That's coming up. And we also have here a wonderful comment. Thank you guys for your live conversation. We learn different opinions, and it's good to watch this. Thank you so much. And if you guys have any opinions, you can disagree, you can agree, you can want to talk about San Marino riding a bull, just let us know. But do you have a second place of semi-final 1?
Well, it's funny that we just mentioned Norway, because I was just about to mention Norway as my, I mean, I haven't really put this in like an order from like, 1, 2, but after Greece, it would be Norway. So I can call it my second place. Yeah. I mean, I love it, in general. So I was always going to love whatever they did on the stage. And it's still one of my favorites of the whole year. I just love Subwoofer. I love them. And it's nothing really that we wouldn't expect. It's like Melody Grand Prix. Like, yeah, we've got good taste. It's like Melody Grand Prix, but bigger, just like a bigger stage. They've got the yellow dancers, they've got the pyro at the end, but even more pyro. So it looks great. And I still think top 10 in the final could happen. So good luck, Norway.
Tusen takk. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you're saying it first and not me, because I also completely agree. I feel so proud of this entry and this act, and I feel like the hype in the air, I haven't felt this hype since Fairy Tale. Not saying this is the next Fairy Tale, but I haven't felt this connection in Norway and this connection in like the bubble for Norway since then, and it's so fun to see. And I absolutely agree with what you're saying here. It is one of the absolute best, and I think they just elevated everything they needed to elevate. I love that they've moved the DJ astronaut to the middle. My only concern with the photos is that it seems like they're a bit in the background in terms of with how dark the stage is. I'm a bit worried about their suits, but I also haven't seen it on television, so it's difficult to say something on. And it seemed like they were really happy with rehearsals, so I'm guessing that we haven't hidden the subwoofers, but that's the only thing like I'm very much looking forward to just be certain of, that they are not invisible, scared. I'm seeing in the comment section right now, first off, I wonder if they really are Ben Adams and Gaut Ormåsen. I know Keaton Jim, wonderful aliens, and I also understand being scared about the jury votes. Do you think that can factor in them not potentially being in the top 10 or getting a good result?
Maybe, but yeah, I am scared about the jury vote, but I also think that they probably will give it something. Like, they won't just not give it anything, because it is a good song. It's quite a well-produced song. So can they just completely forget about it? I don't think they should. I just think it would be like 2019, where they're scoring low with the jury points, but then they get like 200 televote points, and then they get to the top 10. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I feel like the televote really will push it, and I feel like the jury, I think, will respect it even more than Kaino. So I think that this is, I think we're going to be fairly safe of a good result, but it is always interesting because you never know what the jury will expect, especially when we have a DJ battle on stage, Austria versus Norway. Interesting question here, as we're talking about, we've been talking about Greece and now Norway. Will we be giving our 12 points to Greece? I personally feel because she is Norwegian.
I think they will. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the other day. I was thinking, oh, they're probably going to give it to Amanda. And yeah, go for it. I mean, she's going to get 12 points from loads of other countries anyway. I think Norway could be one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Norway and Greece are like the televoting winners in this semi-final. And it's, I really feel like I've been thinking about, okay, will we be doing maybe like Lithuania? We usually give them high. We have given Lithuania a lot of 12 points over the years, but I think that it's time to give Greece that love. And there's so much to love about this semi-final. I want to talk about an act which really surprised me from what I've seen, which is Armenia. They're coming up right after Greece and Norway, and I think that this staging has really elevated it. I really feel like just one thing is also just the change of pace, where it's like everybody has a similar background, and then she comes with all these post-it notes. I think really helps, and I also really felt like it gives you a new dynamic on that stage, which is a plus. And I'm excited to see what they can do, maybe project things on these screens.
Again, I've got a different opinion about that. But it's good to have different opinions. So I think with Armenia, it's the type of thing that you need to wait for the camera angles, because, she's in a room and it's telling a story of some kind. And I think we need to wait to see what it actually looks like on camera. And then, when we do get that, then maybe it will kind of make more sense. But for now, I think the paper looks to me, it looks like toilet paper. When I first saw that, I thought, is that toilet paper? Or like tissue paper or something. But no, it's post-it notes. I get that now, but it doesn't look like it at first. But yeah.
That's the thing that's can be problematic. Is like, okay, if this becomes like too memeable, which can also then make it lose its purpose. So it's it's really like a balancing act. I feel like Vegard, he thinks it looks cheap, and I can understand it, because it feels like, especially when you look at how everything else looks so expensive because of the stagings and the lighting and everything, and you just put her in this room. She's just a portable room with a lot of post-it notes and a bed and everything. So I understand it looking a bit more cheap, but maybe it can also get like this music video feeling, which we don't really have, if I remember correctly, in this semi-final. We have like maybe Subwoofer would do something in that direction, but mostly it's like Estonia, which is the other ones bringing a music video. So I think it can help them stand out, and I'm very much like looking forward to seeing what they will do, because even though Armenia isn't one of my favorites in terms of the song, it's now one of the ones I'm most excited to see, because a lot of people are bringing the same act, which is understandable, but here we have something which is not common, and kind of reminds me of Malta from a few years ago with their own room.
Well, it makes me think of Ireland from last year with Leslie Roy, and that didn't turn out well. They tried to do too much with that. So I'm thinking, is it going to be a similar type of thing where they've put too much into it to the point where it just looks messy and doesn't go down well? I'm thinking it could be another situation like that. But like I say, with the camera angles, it could look great. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's difficult when you bring up Leslie Roy. Like, just to have it out in the universe, like that, the first half of the show was absolutely amazing. But I felt like when you broke the fourth wall, it was like, okay, there the hype went away. Like, I understand it's difficult to like come up with everything, but that was upsetting to me. I don't like when you break the fourth wall unless you're STEFAN from Estonia. We have now talked about a few countries, but is there another country you want to add into the mix of our favorites?
Yeah, for me, I say Ukraine. Because, you know, it is it's like my second favorite or my joint favorite of the whole year. And we knew that it's going to be just a special moment, whatever happens on stage. And I really like how in the pictures that we've got from the gallery of the rehearsal, there's a picture of the blue and yellow colours just kind of like beaming onto the stage. I like that. I don't know if that actually happens like in the performance or if it's always on the stage, but it looks good. And I like how the costumes, they're different, but it's still kind of similar to the national final, so it's not too different. And yeah, it's looking good. I don't know if it will win the whole thing, but I still really love it.
Yeah, I feel like with Ukraine, they've really benefited maybe the most, I would say, out of the ones bringing a similar like to a national final staging, because they have so much more space, more room to like let the vocalists shine more, let everybody get their parts. And I think in terms of when they're lining up the country's flag, I've heard that the thing this year is that they're going to be doing like in Sanremo, where they introduce the artist first and they walk to the stage on camera, and then maybe that's where we see them, or after postcard or something. But I'm very much looking forward to their performance, and I hope no matter what that we get like a good amount of time to give them the applause they deserve. Because I think that, you know, I'm getting you know, less and less like I don't no longer think that they will win the whole thing, but I feel like it's very important to give them the most time for us to just applaud them, get that reaction, and to show our, you know, everybody coming together and being in support, even if it's not maybe the song everybody votes for. So it's going to be maybe the most memorable moment, maybe even more memorable than whoever wins. And they also bring a great act to back it up. So I would really love to see Ukraine get one of the high results. It isn't personally in my top list, but I am so hyped on the song and everything. And also want to bring in Morten right here. Thank you so much. That's so kind. It's extremely kind. And I want to know what you think about semi-final 1 and semi-final 2. Let us know in the comments, and let us know if there's a country we're skipping over and you're like, why are you skipping over the absolute best? But don't worry, if you guys are thinking, where is Lithuania? I'm hearing the rumblings. I'm hearing it outside my window. People are saying, where is Lithuania? Well, they're coming up right now. I really feel nobody talks about this because it's basically the same performance, but it looks so elegant and it looks so more fitting on this giant stage than at the national final, especially with her, with the backdrop of her. I think it looks absolutely wonderful. We have not skipped Poland, where they are in semi-final 2. I promise you, my friend, we are not skipping Poland, but we're talking about Lithuania, and I have to say that I really just love what we've seen, and it's similar to what we've seen before, but that worked so great that I feel like it's just going to work even better right now. And I would even put it over Norway, for an example. Sorry, guys, in terms of how I'm looking forward to seeing her on stage versus Subwoofer with the same type of performance. Have you given Lithuania any thoughts?
I agree. I like how it hasn't changed at all from the national final, because I didn't think it needed to change anything. But for me, it's still like a borderline qualifier, because I just don't know if it will be enough to go through. Like, there's so much excitement over other things in the semi-final, and there's 8 countries that won't make it. So something is going to have to just about miss out. And I'm thinking, will it maybe come like 11th in the semi-final and just not make it? I don't know. There's something about it that I do like it. I really appreciate it, like you say. But I'm just not really like seeing it as a guaranteed qualifier, because that semi-final is just so tough and hard. But yeah, I hope I'm wrong.
But it's I also feel the same way. I just hope to everybody watching also, just so you know, like when I'm making this ranking, it's also like based on, okay, what did I enjoy the most? And I feel like with Lithuania, I feel like we're either gonna miss Lithuania or the Netherlands. I feel like that's gonna be one of the shocks this year, where everybody and the Netherlands is like a winning contender, but judging about what we have in the same semi-final, I feel like it's gonna have a rough time. I'm worried about it, especially because of Switzerland having a very similar show, and then Greece just coming at the end and just like overshadowing everything. But maybe it we still make it. But I feel like Lithuania is a case where it's like I'm not sure. I feel sure about Greece and Norway and Ukraine, but Armenia and Lithuania, it's a difficult story. It's a really difficult story to predict. And just to bring in Martin, we have talked about the subwoofer, and we think they're going to go extremely high overall. And we have talked about Armenia and Iceland will be coming up. And then we have Vegard saying, in first half of semi-final 1, my favorite has to be the Netherlands, but the staging looks very dark and simplistic. But honestly, that worked before, but with Netherlands in 2019 and Portugal 2017. And I agree, especially with Moldova being next to it. I am just like really worried because we usually always miss out on some of our big favorites, and the Netherlands I've been talking about for a while could win the whole thing. So it just seems like to be a pattern where it's like, okay, then we lose it. But I'm hopefully wrong because I love the song.
I'm not worried at all about the Netherlands. I know it looks like simple, but I don't think that's a problem. I do think that with the TikTok video, you can't really get any information from it because it's just her with a dark stage. So I can't really make an opinion on that TikTok video. I think we need to see more, and again, camera angles as well. But I'm not worried. I think it will go flying through to the final. Maybe it won't do as well in the final as people think, because I've seen people say it could get top 5 in the final, and I'm not sure if it'll do that well. But I think it's going through, definitely.
Yeah, hoping the same. And also, even if it does, maybe a bit poorly in the semi-final, we have seen in the past where, like, Norway, for example, with That's How You Write a Song, won the semi-final, and then we ended like 15th or something at the end. So it's always like it can really like be someone completely different who takes the throne and takes the points later on when everybody can vote. So I think that the Netherlands, it really depends on who qualifies also from semi-final too, because there are a few ones that do the same style. But as you say, we haven't seen exactly what's going to be happening. We haven't even seen if Moldova gets a terrain on a virtual stage. But for what we've seen right now, like I'm hoping to see it go through. Do you want to add one more country into the mix?
Yeah, I really like the look of Austria, Halo. Just the staging, it just looked really what I expected it to be, with like the dark, the black and the red colors, and it just looked really fun from that video. But I know, we say so much about can Pia Maria actually sing it live, and we still don't really know yet because you can't get everything from that 5-second clip. I'm hoping that she can, and if she can, then I think it could maybe do better than we think, and it will go through. But I think it all depends on the live vocals.
Yeah, especially with this staging where you're really carried by what they are doing on stage as individuals. You have this cool halo in the mix, but other than that, we haven't seen if what else can happen. So I'm hopeful and worried because and that sounds like a weird comparison here, because it's like, it's both like, yes, this should sail through. I feel confident that this is something we need in the final, but then it's also like, this feels so secure that it might not happen. I'm hoping just that Lumix, the DJ, that he maybe saves the "Come on Europe" for like maybe test it out at like the family show and skip it at maybe the jury show. I'm not sure if that could be like set some jury members off. But I think that especially like that's a televoting moment more than a jury moment. So I'm hoping that they just find a right way to do it, because I like those interactions. We've had it before, like Poland 2018 was really like, come on, everybody, let's dance. And they didn't dance, but here they should be dancing. So hopefully it works. And I think that's why you should maybe test it out at like the final rehearsal before the semi-final, just to see how the crowd reacts. Because if they don't react, then maybe, skip that part. Seeing here with Austria staging, it looks really good with the halo and everything. I love the song, but her vocals, as you said, is the $1 million question. And absolutely, because she sounds like all right in this clip, but it's also like so short. And the problem also is like with the audio under it, a lot of them have like a pretty like some acts, like Subwoofer, I think, for example, had like the track under, and Sidisani also, you didn't hear the live vocals, and the same with Albania also. So yeah, and Morten has a really like interesting question. First off, Morten, I completely agree. This has become my favorite Eurovision year ever. So like 2008, you were great, but 2022, that's where it's at. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. Semi-final running order. I don't really think that much about the semi-final running order. I always sort of pay more attention to the final running order. I think maybe I expected Austria to be kind of later towards the end. But Albania opening, I think, is a really good choice, is what I expected. But everything else, I haven't got much to say, really. I haven't really thought that much about it.
No, I think it's a really like fair running order. I feel like it's nice to put Netherlands in this dangerous spot instead of Switzerland, just because we know that Netherlands has a fantastic song, and we haven't really seen Switzerland come to life yet. It makes me worried, however, about Lithuania qualifying, because I actually picture Switzerland going through. So it's like the first four going through, I don't really see happening. So I think it's an issue for Lithuania. And other than that, maybe Iceland and Croatia can struggle, but I think overall they've done a pretty fair job. If you guys have any opinions, then please let us know, because I think it's fair, and I think it goes well with the team. Like, I think they feel often very secure on who they put second, which makes me happy, because my favorite is Latvia, who's going in second. So I'm overall very confident. And I saw also this comment right here. What about Albania? I don't really get all the hype. The drop in the revamp completely throws me off. I don't like it. And don't remind me of Norway 2018. I'm still embarrassed. You know what? We're going to lose all our viewers, but I like That's How You Write a Song better than Fairy Tale. I've said it. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. So,
wow.
Yeah. I know. We just got new viewers. I'm so sorry. But to everybody joining, we're about to stop talking about semi-final 1. Just want to give a little shout out to Albania, especially also because we just got a question about what's the hype. Don't laugh at me, though. Just kidding. And here we have, I think TikTok don't give us all the information and details we need to see. Absolutely. I think the second rehearsals on YouTube will give us a absolutely. I think that's a really, really valid take and a really like important take, because I feel like right now Greece has given me like the winner of the contest vibes, but we can get that from many other countries right now in the coming days. So we're getting stuff tomorrow, which is going to be really interesting to see. But I think just to quickly talk a bit about Albania. From what we saw, I thought it looked really great. It was really nice to put this first. It is impactful, interesting. Again, it's, as we just talked about here, difficult to comment on the just choosing of dancers, because I loved the national final performance, and I'm not sure about this new team, but I say justice for Albania. EBU, do not censor, and let's wish them all the best, and let's hope that they won't have like a too censored show tomorrow. Have you been caught up on things happening with Albania, the justice for Albania?
Yeah, well, I actually just read before we started filming that she's not going to change the choreography. So it looks like it's okay, which is fair, because when you've got Achille Lauro from San Marino doing everything that he's doing, you know, it doesn't really make sense for her to be censored and not, you know, other people not to be. So, yeah, I think, you know, she didn't have to do that. It couldn't have been that bad for it to be changed. So I'm glad that it's all okay. I love Albania. It's my number 3 overall of the whole year. But the staging is not really what I expected, because she's got the pink hair, and I always expect with Albania black and red, because they usually always have the black and red colours in their staging. So I thought this would be the same, but it looks a bit different to that. But I'm sure it still looks good, and it's still one of my favourites.
Yeah, it's you know, such a strong song that I still really have high hopes, and I feel like it's going to be going through and have a good time there. But yeah, it doesn't give me the same, you know, goosebumps or anything as the national final performance did. But I think that it's a really important song for this contest to have in the mix, and I hope that when we see the performance tomorrow, see more of it, that we're going to be, you know, feeling very hyped. Because I remember when it came out, I even said, you know, this could be a potential winner if done right, and I don't feel that now looking at the staging, but the song quality and the artist absolutely has that ability. And I also want to just point out this comment here. When they're opening the press center tomorrow. So channel as VV Blogs will be able to get closer to the acts, and I therefore think a lot of opinions will change tomorrow. And I agree, and I just want to talk about this for a little bit. It killed a lot of the hype, what happened on Saturday when everything, you know, was starting. I understand with VV Blogs, for example, sending down a team of so many people to cover it, and you have to sit at your hotel and look at TikToks. It's not the hype you're looking for, and I think for that there was a lot of like overreactions in the community about this being a horrible canceled year because we didn't have that same excitement. But hopefully tomorrow, when we get William in there, get Matt from ESC United, and a lot of great people in there, it's going to be really fun. And there might also be a Citizana interview on this channel in the coming days, so stay tuned.
Oh wow!
Because we gotta talk with the boys. We gotta...
Have you seen the video of them doing the Chanel choreography that came out today? It's so good.
That's so amazing. That's so
100 times in a row. I just keep watching it because it's so good.
Yeah. It's so amazing to just see everything they're doing, and I think that's one of the best recent times they've done. And I also think they really like elevate. And it's like I felt like when we saw like the Austria cover, it was so interesting to just see like how well of a vocalist the saxophone guy is, because I knew he was good, but he was like so solid.
Yeah, I know they are talented, you know, when you put them all together. So hopefully the juries can appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have so much faith in you, Latvia. I have so much faith in you. I love you. You're the great. That's my favorite Eurovision act ever. Which, you know, it's wild. It's wild. I'm loving it, and also I'm loving what Martin is talking about here. It really gives you something, because we are so into everything that's happening with Eurovision that the general public might not, you know, want to see these things, but we want to see these things and get excited about them. So it's so awesome to see them do it. And now we're going to be going over to semi-final 2. I've seen in the comments people want to talk about semi-final 2. So let's do it. Everybody, put down your favorites and who you hate the most. No, just just say, hey, we like the best. And maybe if you have somebody you're worried about, let us know. We're going to be jumping into semi-final 2. And you kicked us off so great last time with what was both our favorites. So maybe when I kick us off now, we will agree again. Okay. Who knows? I'm shocked to be saying these words, because this song hasn't really been on my radar. But my favorite out of what we've seen is Cyprus.
Okay.
I'm guessing we don't have the same first place.
I like it. It's not my number one, but it is one of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so unique and so well staged, and I love like the atmosphere it's bringing. It takes you out of the Eurovision bubble, it seems like, and just puts you into their world. And just a majestic, expensive, wonderful, natural, lovely. I really enjoyed it, and I haven't really gotten into the song, so it was nice to see them bringing it so well to life. I was really impressed by it. But you said it was one of your favorites. What did you like about it?
It is one of my favorites. Yeah, I mean, the song is in my top 10 anyway, you know, before the stagings. I've always liked the song. And yeah, I like, you know, it's got the shell. It's very Mediterranean, kind of what you'd expect. I wasn't sure about the outfit. The color of the outfit looks kind of like plain, but then there's so much going on with the lights in the background. I think that can kind of elevate that. But yeah, it looks good. When you see the pictures, the professional looking pictures, it does look really good. So it is one of my favorites. Yeah,
it's awesome to hear. But who are some of your other favorites?
So I actually think the Czech Republic looks amazing, and it's funny because the actual song is not one of my favorites. It's kind of like in the middle for me, but the staging, looking at that, you know, TikTok video, what we've had today, has actually really impressed me, and it could be my favorite looking staging for the whole semi-final. It's just more than what I expected. I didn't think they would come out with all of those lights and fire and pyro. But it looks good so far. So that is so far my favorite staging from semi-final 2, I would say.
That's awesome to hear. That's so awesome to hear. It's wow. Like I felt with this song, like when we talked about staging, it was like, oh, it's going to be so cool when they turn the lights off. I was like looking forward to that moment. Yeah. But then we see this drop at the end. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there live. What's happening? I need sunglasses indoors. And I think the whole of Europe needs it, because this is going to be electric and so much life is going to happen. I think that this is how you do it. This is absolutely how you do it. This song is also for me like in the middle, but then
Yeah.
with that staging, you're all of a sudden talking about, well, this could be top 10. Like, and that's so cool to have this song in that conversation, because I didn't expect that before we saw what happened.
Yeah, because the song it's been out for so long, it kind of grew off me. I was getting kind of bored of the song, but I've always liked it. But now the staging has elevated it even more. Like, it is not what you'd expect, but it's so much more impressive than we expected it to be. So it's looking good, because they didn't qualify last year. I'm sure they will. Looking at that is definitely a qualifier. Maybe even a good result in the final. Maybe. I didn't think that before, but now I kind of do.
And that's, such a, fun thing about this contest this year, is that there's so many who can do so well. Like, it would be shocking to see this in the top 5, for an example, but it wouldn't be like undeserving. This, so many things deserve this recognition, and I think it's so cool to see them go from a dark staging in the Czech Republic to an incredibly light up staging and a very atmospheric staging when we get to Eurovision. So I'm very, very impressed. And before we continue, we're going to be looking at some of the favorites here in the comments. We have, for example, Sweden mentioned here as a favorite. We also have Serbia, Georgia, Ireland, and the Czech Republic, which Czech Republic represent. And then we have a comment I agree on, which, this is the weaker semifinal. But his favorites are Poland, Cyprus, and the Czech Republic. And I agree. Like, I felt like this, or I felt this was the weaker semifinal. But looking at what we've seen so far, this is maybe the one that's impressed me the most, just like visually, and
But I agree, that's what I think too. Going into it, it was the weaker, more kind of like open semi-final. But now, after seeing Czech Republic, Romania, San Marino, I'm impressed by a lot of them in this semi-final. So maybe they're both strong semi-finals. It's just a good year in Shanghai. I think that just proves how good the year is.
Absolutely. And we're now going to be moving over to another one, which I have on my favorites list. This one was this staging gave me exactly what I wanted from this song. We're talking about Malta. I Am What I Am. This felt like a great use of the whole stage. It felt like the pyro really elevated it. It wasn't distracting. It felt like a really like well-told story of the song that wasn't like too much of it like telling you in a visual sense, but more of a telling you through the words and making them clearer, and also then bringing in the choir and everything. I think it looked stunning. I think the outfits worked great, and I'm very excited to see this on the big screen. And I'm almost feeling like with this type of show that maybe it will look better in the audience than on television, but I'm still very hopeful that this is something that can make it true.
I love Malta. I'd love for it to go through. I'm still thinking, because everybody else around you says that it won't, it kind of makes you feel like it won't, because you're influenced by everybody else. But I hope it goes through. I'm still kind of like worried about it because it's not very popular in the bubble. So yeah, I'm not sure, but I agree. I really like the staging, the outfit, everything's gold. It's like a whole golden stage. So I like it. But I'm not really I'm not expecting it to go through, but I'm worried that it won't go through. But I hope it does.
Yeah, let's cross our fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking forward to the votes you were promised for Malta in this semi-final.
Yeah. I mean, I actually want to vote for a lot of things in semi-final too, now that I've seen the staging. I'm going to vote for Malta, Romania, Ireland, Czech Republic. So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. And speaking of a lot, Vegard brings up how many Norwegians are competing this year, talking about Norway, Greece, the Czech Republic, and also to throw into the mix, we also have Austria, because one of the main producers is also Norwegian. So Norway represents right now.
Yeah.
Represent. But you said there were a lot of things that would get your votes in the semi-final. What's another act you have on your list that you want to give some votes to?
I really like the look of Romania. That song has grown on me a lot, and the staging looks so good. And again, there's a lot of good stagings in this semi-final. It is looking like another strong semi-final, and I think Romania's staging, it really matches the song. You've got those bright red colours, you've got the fire, the dancing, and it's another one that I think, I hope that goes through. I think it deserves to. And the staging makes me think hopefully it will, because it just looks so good. So I've got my fingers crossed for Romania as well. I like it.
Yeah, it would be so wonderful to see this advance and see this in every club around Europe and even the world. Like, this is so energetic and fun. It is so passionate, and I really loved in his TikTok also how much passion he had for it, like how excited he was. And even then, when doing the sensual dancing and everything, I feel like you can feel his excitement. I'm hoping to be able to see that through the screen. And I hope that also will, especially with the televote, maybe make people want to vote for it more, because they see this means very, very much to him. And it would be nice to get more of this in the final. And it's also a good, especially after seeing also the show, it's a good transition song through energetic and slower acts, because it's here in the middle, a bit mid-tempo. So I would be really, really happy to see it go through. I am also, I want everybody in the comments, and I want you also to be honest right now, because I have not heard this being said. I haven't seen what people have said about today's, or the semifinal 2. But I feel like we're going to be talking about a potential winner right now. And I want to be certain if I've lost my mind, because this song hasn't really been talked about from me either before. But what I saw today from Azerbaijan, I thought it was absolutely, it was so interesting. It didn't give me a full picture or anything about what's going to happen, but the elevation really made me feel like they are bringing something. And if he's able to do it live, which it sounds like, then I'm not saying San Marino, but I would love to see a bull also in Azerbaijan. But the thing is, I just felt like with this elevation that it brought a new dynamic that I hadn't seen from any of the other performers before that. And I was really almost blown away by what Azerbaijan was bringing. But I have never considered the song a potential winner, or there's a potential winner, but now I felt like it's up there. It's really high up there. What do you think?
I get what you mean. You say elevation. I think that's a good word. It has been elevated with the staging, because I never really liked the song. I still don't really like it, but the staging does look good. It looks like they've got something going on. They're telling some kind of story. And there's a picture they posted with the two men looking at each other, away from each other. And that looked really atmospheric. So I like that. A potential winner, I don't see that happening, to be honest. I thought you were going to say Sweden. When you said potential winner, I thought, Sweden is the obvious one from that semi-final. But I don't really agree with that either. But
same.
Yeah. No, it looks like it's improved. And if it does go through, then I can understand why. Yeah, but it's still not really a favourite of mine. Yeah.
And judging by your comments and also the comment section, I'm guessing this isn't something people consider a winning contender. I just felt like with the jury here, this is going to be top 3 with the jurors. I felt like this is going to be massive. But here we have Azerbaijan might have a huge appeal to the juries, yeah, and the staging definitely contributes to that. Might struggle with the televote though, and I agree, especially like going into when they're performing. They are like in a good spot because you might have people being like put off by Serbia and Georgia, but it's still like so early that maybe it also could have a hard time. I'm not sure. But I think that maybe the jury will see its quality easier than the public, especially in the semifinal. But then in the final, if this is placed right, this is. I just have to point out. I think that this is 100% going through now. I was really impressed by this.
Yeah, I am impressed, definitely. I think it probably will go through. And I'm thinking maybe in the final it could get like a decent result, but maybe not absolutely amazing, especially because you've got lots of men in that semi-final. You've got Poland, Belgium, which I don't think will go through anyway, so that doesn't matter. Australia as well. So if he does make it through, that's impressive because it means that they appreciated him with all the other male vocalists as well. But yeah, when you said winner, I thought you were going to say Sweden or Poland. So that was surprising, for Azerbaijan. But yeah, it does look good.
Do you have another one you want to throw into the mix of our favorites for this semi-final?
I say San Marino. But I don't like the song. This is the thing. I've never liked the actual song. I'm going to say sorry. I'll take that back. No, I don't like the song, but the staging, like everyone on Twitter was just going completely crazy because nobody really expected. He performed at that national final in San Marino, a tiny stage, and now they've got this really like professional, expensive looking staging with so much going on, and it just looks really impressive. And even though I've never really liked the song that much, I like the staging. And now I didn't think at first he'll go through, but now I think he could actually go through with that because it looks good to me and to a lot of people.
Absolutely, I agree, and I feel like for more of the casual audience, after what happened last year with Florida, that people have San Marino on their radar. Like for the Eurovision fan base, it's always been on our radar since the Social Network song and Say Na 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 and everything. But now it's like, okay, well, what are they bringing? What is San Marino bringing? And this right here is expensive. It is fun, and it feels like it really like. This song is my last place out of all the songs this year, but
yeah, it's in my bottom 5. So I think it's like my number like 35 or something. Yeah,
it's true, but it feels now as like a deserving predecessor, like to come after Florida and Zenit. It feels like it's deserving of it because it puts in the work, and the comment of like. Yes, the pyro is epic. Like we're getting Bulgaria bringing lots of pyro, but this like it takes the cake. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on. But I feel like with this song, it wouldn't have been on people's radar, especially after coming after the Rasmus from Finland, if they didn't do this. And I think that San Marino won't do too well. I don't think they will top the results of last year, but I could, really see this go to the final and. Get a lot of respectable moments. And it's important to note that there is a certain audience who tunes into Eurovision just for those things. And they might also, be voting for this because they want to see the ridiculous. And since so much is just seriously great music, seeing someone ride that bull might be exactly what they need.
Yeah, I mean, the reaction it's caused today on social media, it's a big reaction already. So on TV, it'll be even more of a reaction. So that's why I'm kind of thinking it'll get enough attention for it to go through. But then also, Italy can't vote in that semi-final. So could that be a problem? Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of factors there, but I think that even without Italy, that this is going to have like a really good shot.
Yeah.
But then going over to like another one in terms of the semi-final 2, which I think is like a absolute for certain going through. I also got like winning potential with this. But not to the same extent as like Greece, for example. But Poland, I thought really delivered, especially with the backdrop. It felt like this felt massive. It really like took you out of what seems to be a pattern of just like this darkness and just added in some really like beautiful visuals. And I loved the use of dancers and how they were covered up. I think it was like Jasensky in the Czech Republic who didn't make it. And a lot of people were talking about how could that be on stage? Well, maybe this is something up that lane.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Poland, I would have said that as well as another favourite. I like how, like you say, the dancers, to me, it gives me like a Harry Potter Dementors. Yeah, Dementors. They look like Dementors. And I like that dark, kind of creepy staging. It's a bit like the music video as well. I think those cloaked beings, whatever they are in the music video. So I like how they kind of transferred that. Yeah, I really like the look of Poland. I don't know if it will win the whole thing. I'm not really expecting it to. But they've done a great job this year. Like best Polish entry in a long time, I think.
Should I be controversial again when we would talk about Polish?
Do it,
okay. And one of my favorites from my favorite entry from Poland is The Ride by Rafal from last year.
I was just thinking, that's a guilty pleasure for me. It's so bad, but I did kind of like secretly like it. To listen to it, I did enjoy it. So yeah, it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. So I want him back. I want him back right now. No. I just think that was you meant to type love, like heart emojis. I understand. We all love Rafal.
Yeah.
And he was, you could say that he wasn't really elevated by what was going on stage, even if it was a great meme. But what do you feel like? You want to bring up a few countries, maybe some countries we haven't talked about yet. Who do you feel are the biggest, like in terms of like being elevated in the semifinals from what we've seen so far?
So from semi-final 1, I think Latvia has made me more hopeful of qualifying. I know you'd be happy about that because you love Latvia. Yeah, there's just something about watching that TikTok video, just seeing how colourful everyone looks. Like there's so much colour and energy, and they'll perform it well live like they always do. I just think now it's making me feel more hopeful that they will go through. I mean, it's still not, guaranteed, but there's something about it that just makes me even more positive about it. So I hope they go through.
Yeah, it's. I personally feel like I haven't talked about them today, but I feel like they brought the energy. They have the charisma. They have the song. They are the greatest, people on earth. They're extremely talented. I feel like it seems to be very much like the same thing as the national final, just bigger scale, and all that. I'm very excited to see how they get people to shout pussy. I've now got live tickets also for the semifinals, so I'll be shouting. I'll be ready. I'm going to be backing them. But I'm a bit unsure about their outfits just by how we've been looking at it. It seems a bit plastic to me, and I'm very used to them having a very, wonderful fashion sense. Like I understand what Latva is going for. What? City Sunny just tweeted. They probably said they wanted me to join again on stage. Well, City Sunny, they hopefully tweeted that they're going to win Eurovision because they should. I'm just like very much like hoping when I see like the rehearsal clips tomorrow that the outfits looks good on stage, because that's the only thing that I've been a bit worried about. But as Giannis said in the TikTok, he said he felt safe about qualifying. And I absolutely think that they should be feeling very safe, because this right here is above and beyond. I everything in a way. I love it so much. So even if it's something we've seen before, I still have so much hype for this song. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be okay, hopefully. But there's other things that have, impressed me and made me think that it could qualify. But most of them are from semi-final 2. Like, you got Latvia semi-final 1. And then semi-final 2, like I said, San Marino. Like, I never thought it would qualify, but now I think it might. And Romania as well. And I think Ireland looks good, but I'm still worried about them because, if you look at Ireland's track record, it's not great. So you always kind of worry about if they'll go through. But the staging and the pole performance does look good. I'm still a bit concerned that they won't go through. But what do you think of Ireland? Are you a fan, or?
I'm a fan, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like it's gonna be getting like maybe like 14, 15th place overall. I think that it's going to get a good amount of points. Like it's not going to go last. It's going to be receiving public attention deservingly, and I think it's I think Brooke is great. I think the song is great. And I'm, very like hopeful when I see the staging also, but I feel like this one would be a non-qualifier. Maybe potentially this could be one of those songs where the public wants it and the jury doesn't, but I also don't see the public wanting it enough in this field. But I would not be disappointed to hear That's Rich played in the final, but I don't see it advancing.
No, I do agree. Yeah, I like the song. I'm still concerned it won't go through. Also, I noticed there's a lot of people mentioning about Ireland being like Croatia last year, Albania.
Yeah.
Where this is what I think as well, where people really like it, but it just misses out, and I can see that happening definitely, where it doesn't quite make it, but they gave it everything they could. I can see it not qualifying, definitely.
Yeah, so I hope that Ireland soon again will be in the final. But I don't think this is the song. I think that it's potentially last place if it goes to the final, just because of how strong this
if
field
it goes
is.
to the final, definitely bottom 5. Yeah, definitely. But at least they made it, if they did.
Yeah, true. So no, didn't make it was the ride. Rejected. He even didn't make it to Melodifestivalen. It's rough. It's rough. Like, how can you say such a thing about the greatest Polish entry? And then I'm going to Turin this Sunday. It's close. Like, it's strange. Like, in 1 week at this time, we are watching. Are we watching Switzerland? Who are we watching in 1 week? It's going to be exciting. We are going to be watching the Eurovision Song Contest. Vegard says you can't compare Ireland 2022 to Croatia 2021. Well, you can't compare it, but I understand. Like, I understand liking Croatia more. I think it's the same type of feeling and same type of song in many ways. Czech, watch me dance. It's a banger. I haven't heard that song in a year. I need to listen to it again. But talking about like elevations for semi-final 2, we've talked about the main ones for me with Azerbaijan and Cyprus. But in terms of semi-final 1, Bulgaria really impressed me.
Same,
Bulgaria was a lot of hype, and I was first like, as I posted on your channel, I was like both pleasantly surprised and also like underwhelmed. What I meant by underwhelmed was I was underwhelmed by their outfits. I didn't really enjoy them going out there just like in jeans and more regular clothing. But the more I thought about it, the more I loved it. Because I think they're going to cater to an audience which might not think Eurovision is the most fun thing in the world to tune into, who are just seeing Eat Your Salad and all these things, and they're like, why am I watching? And then you bring this, which feels like, I wouldn't say non-Eurovision, because everything is Eurovision, but it feels like it could be placed in a totally different venue. It could be placed at your local bar or at a big music festival. It could be placed anywhere. And I think that's going to appeal to a lot of people. The speakers looked great. Like the subwoofers was great. And I love the use of pyro. And I think that, you know, this is such a talented vocalist who definitely deserves that recognition of the big stage. So I'm hopeful for Bulgaria, and I'm also hopeful for Switzerland, even if they got like a big advantage compared to everybody else, because we saw so much of like a recording of the screen. But it looked wonderful there. He sounds great. And I think that Switzerland might be the reason we don't see Lithuania in the final. What do you think about Switzerland and Bulgaria?
Bulgaria, I agree. I was pleasantly surprised, you know, because it looks not bad. I think our expectations are quite low because nobody really likes the song that much. But the staging looks like they've put some kind of effort in, I think. You know, it looks good. There's pyro, energy, it looks like. I don't think it's going to go through. But now I'm thinking that it won't be like bottom of everything, like right at the bottom. I think it could get a few points. So I don't think it's all that bad. You know, I think they've done a good job as much as they could. But Switzerland, I never thought this was going through, and I still don't. And it's like my least favorite of the whole year. And I think I mentioned in one of my videos before about how I was kind of hoping that they would do something creative on stage that kind of brought the story to life, to elevate the song. But they haven't done that. They haven't put anything on the stage at all. It's just him with, you know, a spotlight. So I was thinking, you know, they have to do something to make it more interesting, but they haven't. So I still don't think it's going through. But then you could say, oh, but the juries will love him. You know, they'll love the voice. That could be true as well. But I still don't think it stands out enough to go through. Sorry.
That's completely fair. And I feel like Switzerland is an easier told story, based also because of the language here, an easier story than the Netherlands. And they seemed, from what we've seen so far about of these seconds, it seems to be the same staging. And I think the Netherlands has a better song every day of the week, you know, when it comes to this year in terms of against Switzerland. But there's something about this where I think this can really pull at people's heartstrings. And it's also because of Amanda Tenfjord coming in later with a really powerful ballad. And they're not really being like such a big male competitor to Switzerland there. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see. I wouldn't be sad if Switzerland doesn't make it, but I feel like this is a push waiting to happen. And yes, Romania is amazing. It is so good. We love this song right here. And to this question, if Ukraine wins, that's something we have to just wait and see. But if they win, like Jamala talked about her dream being a free Kiev, being able to host, which I think would be like so historic and wonderful. But if not, Ukraine could host in UK. I think was the main one to do it for them.
Like, I've heard different things. The UK apparently is one of them. I think Poland as well.
Yeah,
and that does make sense for it to be Poland, or I think they said one of the big five, or even whoever came second in the final. So there's different things that people are saying, but if it is the UK, then great, I'll go.
Yeah. So I think that if Ukraine wins, it would be the moment of a lifetime. Would be amazing, and we shouldn't be worried about it. Like, it's gonna happen next year, and we're just gonna get a great hosting from Ukraine. It just depends on where it's going to be, but it's so do not worry about that. We've now talked about our favorites in the semifinals. We've talked about the biggest like elevations. There are of course entries we haven't even mentioned today. So if there is either an entry you guys want to talk about that you just leave in the comments, you want us to just quickly talk about, or an entry you want to bring up, Laura, which would it be?
Semi-final one, I was quite impressed with Iceland with the staging, and it's another song that I would like to go through, but because that tough semi-final, I don't know if there'll be enough room for it to go through, but it would be nice for it to go through, to have that different kind of music, that folk music in the final, and the staging looked really nice, I thought. So yeah, I'm starting to pay a bit more attention to Iceland. So that was another one that is growing on me. I was quite impressed with.
Yeah, I'm very glad you brought up Iceland. Like, first off, a worry for me is always with like the running order, in the sense of we have the final five is Austria, Iceland, Greece, Norway, Armenia, and I don't think you could have like all of them go through. And I think in that sense, Iceland would be put out, but this is the right semi-final for Iceland to potentially make it. So I think a solid jury push will happen. I think that based on also the success of Iceland the past couple of years, that more people are going to be giving it more of a chance than they might have if it was a different country who did it, who doesn't regularly do too well, because people are all over the world are crazy about Iceland right now. So I would be happy to see it. I based on I think it's like 3 seconds or 4 seconds, it looked beautiful, but it also looked like something that could potentially cancel out the other acts who are like Switzerland and Netherlands, where I think every song that's kind of similar in this staging will get a lesser result because of it, but it would definitely deserve to go through in this selection. And I think it is placed right and everything. So this is we should have hope. I think there's no like in the first semi-final, there's nothing to just write off. I think everything has a shot. I think Croatia has done a better job. Denmark is a dark horse, absolutely. And Carl's comment, I don't think Ukraine song is a winning song. And to that, it's difficult to say, because I remember like on the like odds, for example, it was already first before anything happened with the war. So this is a song that's had a lot of hype around it, and I understand people being like, I don't understand how this can win, but that's the beauty of Eurovision, like things you usually don't see has the possibility to go extremely high and get this wonderful platform. So I think it would be a winning contender no matter what, even if I think the staging hasn't looked like a winning one yet.
I agree. I think even without the whole situation, it is a really, really good song. And I think it is a worthy contender for the win, I think. So, you know, if you take away the whole situation, I think it would still be up there as doing really well. So I wouldn't complain if it wins at all. I'd be really happy with that. I really like it.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful song and a wonderful thing to send right after, you know, the hype last year with Shum. This is kind of the alley you want to see from Ukraine now, and it's so cool to see them doing it. So yeah, do you also agree that everything in semi-final one has the potential to go through, or is there something which is just like, it's not, doesn't have a shot?
I'd say that the definite non-qualifiers, I think, are Switzerland and Bulgaria and Slovenia. And I think Croatia as well is in danger of not going through. There's just something about it, I think, is just not enough.
Wait, no, I agree with this. No way, yeah.
Who said that?
I don't know. I don't read the names. I'm just
So I think, I know you said that there is a case for everything, and there is a case for most of them. But then you've got those group like Switzerland, Slovenia that are still non-qualifiers. I think I'd be shocked if they go through.
What? The disco ball, it's wonderful.
No, I mean, no, it does look good. I mean, and I love how LPS look so casual. They look like a group of friends from college that have just made this band, gone to Eurovision, and I like them. And I do think they've done a good job with the staging, but I still don't think it'll be enough to go through.
Yeah, totally. And I disagree there, but also I feel like I totally get what you mean. I feel I just comment also on them. They feel very mature for their age. They are really like, this is really well crafted, and I don't think this is a for sure qualifier or anything. I could see this being potentially also last, but I feel like it's so stand out. But it could also, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the same alley as Lithuania in a way where they could cancel out each other because they are more unusual in a way. But it's interesting, and it's cool to hear that, you know, because I see that field and I think everything here can succeed, and then it's, you know, nice to also hear, okay, but what couldn't? And it's nice to hear that also for a song like Switzerland, which I'm like, oh, this is for sure going through. So I also here have Natasha has brought up a really good question here, but what we think about Serbia. Do you want to start about it with Serbia?
Okay, yeah. It's a tough one. In terms of qualifying, I think it's really unpredictable. It's something that people love, but I can't really see people really loving it, you know, members of the public loving it as much as people do in the fandom. But I can kind of see it going through, especially from that semi-final. Like, I wouldn't be like really shocked if it does go through, but I wouldn't be shocked if it doesn't go through either. So I don't know. I don't mind it, you know. I think it's interesting. But I've seen loads of people say that it's like winner potential or like top 10 potential, and I really don't get that. I don't think it will do as well as some people think, but I'm starting to like it more than I did before. So I don't hate it anymore.
And it's you know, you bring up people saying this is a winning contender. I don't see this personally either as one of the dark horses to win, but I feel like when I look at it, like my interest in the song has gone down just because of being used to it. It's no longer shocking to me, and it's a really like the more you read into it, this is such an important song, an important message, which I love being represented. But I have to also, even though my love for it is starting to fade, I have to remember how excited it was when I first saw it, and I think that looking at the field it's up against, like it's in between Israel and Azerbaijan, and I think that for many people there isn't going to be a song, even maybe in the first half of the semi-final, except for Serbia, that appeals to them. I think it's going to be standing very much for a certain audience as just their song, and the rest is like, this is basic, this isn't doing anything for me. So I think that Serbia has a good shot. I think Serbia could do well at the contest, but I also think that it's not maybe top 15, but it is definitely a respectable result in the final. It deserves to be there, and I hope the commentators do a good job of explaining it. As of the staging, it looks for me the same as the national final, just bigger and better.
Yeah, and with the whole, explanation of the lyrics as well. When you watch the video, you have to read the lyrics on YouTube, but we won't get that on TV. So that is a problem because the commentators can't explain everything. It is the type of thing where you need to read the lyrics. So without having them, I think, it doesn't really help the situation, but it's quirky, and I can understand if it does go through because it stands out so much. So I don't mind either way.
I'm kind of same here. I just hope out of Serbia's chances that the commentators who commentate for countries that can't vote, yes, you can do jokes. Oh, what have you been doing for the past 2 years? You've been washing your hands. Well, let's do it for 3 more minutes. You can do those things. But for the acts or for the countries who get commentators who are countries that can vote, I think it's important to, absolutely. I thought it was, about COVID as well. The thing is that I think it's important that the commentators tell the story if you're able to vote, because if not, it's kind of dead on arrival for a lot of people. So I hope that. I'm hopeful they will do that good job, but I'm also certain that Graham Norton isn't going to do it in the final, because this is a great act to do some fun. But let's not hope that overshadows the important, meaningful message it brings. So
it's a tough one. Yeah.
It's really tough, and Vegard has sent out some non-qualifiers here. I'm going to see if I disagree with some. So it's Denmark, Iceland, Bulgaria, Switzerland, Malta, North Macedonia, Ireland, Montenegro, Croatia. I think that's a fair list, even if I think Switzerland could do it. I think if that's the songs we lose, we lose one of my we lose 2 of my favorites. I have Malta and Bulgaria in my top 10, but and Montenegro also. But that's my 11th, so it's okay. But it's difficult, but I think that's a fair list.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all of that. I mean, I would like Malta to go through, but I can prepare myself for it not to happen. Montenegro, I think, is definitely not going through, so I agree with that. That's fair. That is very fair.
Vegard, I think you're onto something here. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. One song, unless anybody else brings up a country they want us to talk about, we can't end this stream without talking about a certain Circus Mircus from Georgia. I have them as one of my favorites in this semi-final. We talked about this in our video about if they do the staging halfway, no chance. And we also talked a bit about they've kind of ruined their illusion already by showing themselves at these pre-parties and not being as well done as a subwoofer, for an example. But
Hmm.
based on what we saw on these clips and the photos, I am really impressed, and I think it was a great choice to actually go on these pre-parties, because it isn't like spectacular. It is just it is weird, but it's extremely good, and it's not appealing to 90% of the viewers, but hopefully those who find it appealing will also want to vote. Vegard, I think it's fair to add this to the non-qualifying list, but also we could talk about potential. It's not potential winner. It's barely qualifying. I think. Do you see Georgia making it to the final?
I don't know. I don't think they will. I like them as a group. You know, I love the whole look, the whole ridiculousness of the whole thing, because, you know, I love that quirky stuff, and, you know, the whole how they act backstage. I love that. I don't know. I can't see it going through. I think the song itself is not really strong enough, and I just don't know if it'll get that appeal. But then I think back to 2016, and apparently the lead singer is involved in the group, and it does kind of look like him, but it's not confirmed yet. But that had a really British sound to it. In the UK, gave it 12 points. Our jury gave it 12 points. And this gives me a kind of British feel as well. Maybe not quite as good, but maybe it does have an audience, you know, some kind of appeal. But will it be enough? I'm not sure.
No,
I don't think so.
It's difficult with that semi, and especially that half, because not to compare it, you know, to them too much, but you have Israel, Serbia, San Marino, and Ireland really close to it, and I don't think, you know, it's as I said, it's not going to be appealing to most people. It just hopefully is a demographic that will be voting. It will be memorable, but not as memorable as it would have been in semi-final one. But also, I think it wouldn't have had a shot at semi-final one. This is the only one it can make it. But it's such. But there's so many songs that are a bit out there in different ways, even if it's energetic or what they present on stage, which I think can hurt Georgia. But I think ultimately, Circus Mircus on this platform can be really happy with what they presenting, because the backdrop and everything, and their costumes looks both like expensive and stylish, but also you know, fun, and like we could have made it at home. It's weird. I really want Israel to qualify. It's in my 12th place this year.
Oh wow.
And I think what we saw at the TikTok and on Eurovision, the photos and everything looked great, but it looked also what we're used to. So I wasn't blown away, but I know I really enjoyed that package, and he's delivering it beautifully. So I'm very happy he's participating.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorites overall. But it could do well live. You know, it could be fun. People could really enjoy it. But again, it's just one of those borderline things that you just don't know. It could go either way. But maybe in this semi-final, maybe there could be room for it. Then you've also got Romania in there as well. You know, can they both go through? I don't think so.
There seems to be going through, okay, what can get the most jury backing? And that's difficult to predict as well, because vocally, maybe you go to Israel, but as a song, you can't deny the awesomeness of Romania. I think that's more appealing overall. But I think, you know, this is a semi-final which has, you know, some top contenders people to talk about. I don't see them being top contenders, but just saying we have Estonia in the mix, and we have Sweden in the mix, and Australia. And I think they all delivered well, but I would rather see Israel.
Yeah, yeah, but those are definitely, you know, Sweden, Poland, Estonia, Australia. I think those are definitely the top of that semi-final. And Sweden, you know, I'm not that much of a fan, but I'm sure it will still do well in the semi-final. But yeah, it's not doing much for me, Sweden, because like we know what the staging is. We know what they're going to do already, and it's not really winner material to me, I don't think, but it's going to be up there definitely.
Yeah, I said for a while that maybe Norway wins the public and Sweden wins the jury, but I no longer see it winning the jury either, because Cornelia is wonderful, but she isn't Amanda Tenfjord, because I can't believe we live on the same planet as that performance by Amanda Tenfjord, and it's so awesome to think about. And I think no matter what, you know, the next week is going to be one incredible party. It's going to be rough. It's going to be difficult to lose so many wonderful acts in the semifinals. But luckily we have some great pre-qualified ones, so they're safe.
The big five is even more exciting for me, because like we've got the two semi-finals, we still got the big five, and the winner could be from the big five. You never know. So, you know, there's still more hype to come. So I can't wait for that. I think is it Thursday that we find out the rehearsals for that? Yeah, I can't wait.
So that evening is going to be so exciting. The moment we get to see the spaceman on stage, it's going to be wonderful. I've said for a while that I consider France the dark horse to win it all. But that's
I love that. I love France. I like Italy, UK, France, Spain. The big five, I think all of them have done a good job. Even Germany, you know, it's not great, but it's better.
It's better than Jendrik?
It's better than I Don't Feel Hate. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Yeah, you know, I even said that, you know, Rafal was my favorite Polish entry. So maybe I have a strange taste. So,
definitely.
Yeah, but I think that the big five can be proud. Yes, Germany had a winning contender with Electric Callboy and didn't do it, but it's still like a wonderful representative, and I think that it's going to be so exciting to get everybody, you know, to see what everybody is bringing. And I really like just seeing these short clips that we have right now, because anything can happen, and it's just excitement upon excitement. And even if something is underwhelming, you're still like, but anything can happen still. So that's wonderful. And I think also I can't wait for the last quarter of semifinal one of the running order, and I think that's going to be the party of a lifetime, which includes also two beautiful ballads. But you're going to have so much happening. We're going to snap. We're going to give that wolf a banana. We're going to see the sun in Iceland. We're going to see the halo. We're going to die together. It's going to be a semifinal one. Is wonderful. Australia, we said that, you know, it's great. It's the same as the national final in a way, but I do feel like Australia is in the same category as Switzerland, Netherlands, Iceland, North Macedonia, where they can kind of cancel each other out, but it's still talked about as a winning contender. So the moment is there. I just don't think, I think the song is pretty boring, but the performance is great, and if you watch it for the first time, it's lovely. But you won't go on Spotify afterwards, most likely, to hear it.
No, yeah, I feel like there's not much love for it. But I still think it should go through. I still think the juries will really like it. But yeah, I do find it kind of boring. But I appreciate the way he performs it. I appreciate his voice. But like you say, I don't really go back and actually listen to it like I do with the others. So it's not a favourite, but I do still think he is really good.
Yeah, he's extremely talented, and I am so happy we have him in this Eurovision family. And it's going to be, awesome as to see him as a person on that stage. And I think he delivers everything great, even if I think he's much better than the song. And Vegard, I just want to say thank you so much for joining the stream. It was awesome to have you here. Thank you, Vegard. We are about to end the stream also, so you're not missing too much. But thank you once again for joining, and thank you so much to Mooney for also coming by and saying that Australia is boring. Yes, and nothing special. All I like is the performer. He is great. Absolutely. He's much, as we said, much better than the song. And I want to see them in the final because he is a wonderful human being, not because it is a wonderful song. But yeah, you don't vote on people, but you also you vote on energy. There's something about maybe having a lesser song, but you really connect with the person, which makes you vote for them, instead.
But that's how I feel about Latvia. Talking about connection with the actual person. I think City Zengi, even though you might not like the song, there is something about them as performers and as people that just makes it even better. So I think, that's another example of the artist really. Yes, I agree with what this person said. Yeah, yeah, the greatest ever.
Yeah, that's important to the stories being told. I think that someone who talked in great detail about this was Tix last year, who represented Norway. And
I love that.
And he was even if he didn't get he got a great result with the public, but the most important thing was telling the story and also connecting with people. And many people who didn't have this as their favorite song had this as the most meaningful thing for them because of the story. And I'm so happy, that we're able to get it in this way, where it's the story you're telling and you as a person can help so many people, and getting this platform to help people and make the world a better place. It's absolutely wonderful. And it's also you're making the world a better place by doing something as fun as, City Sun is doing. It's an important message, but it's also important to bring something which is just so full of life and fun. Because we live in a world where we don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know how long we can feel joy and happiness. We don't know what's happening next. And I think it's important to enjoy this as long as we can, and stay in the happiness when we can. Of course, understand what's happening around us, but also celebrate what we're able to do. So I think it's beautiful to see all these wonderful representatives, and I think this is such a wonderful group of artists and people.
It's a fun group, definitely. Yeah, you've got Subwoofer and City Zengi and Circus Mircus as well. All the fun content we're getting. It seems like a fun group. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's and I feel as Mona is talking about here, with getting this funky jokey entries, especially also we're referring here to City Sunny. It's I feel like the people who are doing pop this year, for the most part, are really going all the way. Brooke is going all the way, Moldova is all the way, everybody's all the way, because you're kind of balancing it out. So it's a heavy ballad field, but I don't feel that personally, because when we get pop, it is ridiculously funny. So you don't hear what Israel is bringing. You don't hear I Am on the radio, but you love to hear it because it's so energetic and fun, and the world needs more of that. So I think
I think it felt like there were a lot of ballads, but then when you put everything together, it actually is not that ballad heavy. Like you say, when you put all 40 of them together, you realize how much variety there actually is. So I think there is quite a good mix of ballads and pop and quirky. There's not that much rock, though. There is rock, but not that much.
No,
I'd
there.
like more.
Yeah, there should have been more.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that Sheldon is representing Australia, but
Yeah.
there is a certain group with guitar solos and everything that should have
Yes,
gotten
I
this spot.
agree. That was my favorite. Yeah.
So I think that also, if we were to like put one entry to kind of summarize the year, let's say Denmark, you go from the emotional ballad to the colorful punk rock fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of, I didn't see this comment there, but
Oh.
what do you think of the Danish chance of qualifying? As a Dane, I'm worried, but I'm crossing my fingers. Well, I crossed them too. Do you cross them, Laura?
Yeah, I'll cross them. I like them. I like how it stands out in that semi-final as that one rock entry. So, because it stands out so much, I'd like them to go through. It's still borderline for me, though. I'm just not sure. But I really like, what they're doing and the energy that they bring to the stage. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's like different from the other like rock, like Bulgaria and Moldova in that semi. You have a different demographic, and you also have what I really like about it is how you start with such a emotional ballad, but people can then think another one, and then you just like we go full speed, full rock. I think it's wonderful. They're one of the most energetic acts on stage.
Yeah.
And I see that people are very split on if they like the slow or the rocky part more. But I think it's a difficult song for me to like listen to on the regular. But as a performance, I absolutely love it. And I do think it's a dark horse to advance. I think this has a better shot than Fyr og Flamme to advance, even if I think Øvers på en Natten is a better song, because that was one of the best songs ever in history of music.
Of the world.
Of the universe, like the best band in the universe. So, but I have to say, I because we're also on this channel, we would have loved to party with the Harde Drange. We would have loved to have Full Effect do the rave. It would have been amazing. But I think that this was the right choice in terms of having a qualifying chance, even if Full Effect should win next year, no matter what.
Oh, that was. I loved your interview, not interview, but reaction that they did to you. That was so much fun.
It was the party of a lifetime. It was so awesome. I also think that we've had I have to say, I'm gonna say it myself. I think this was an amazing stream. That's thanks to you, Laura, for being so awesome, and thanks to the comment section for being filled with lovely people. There's been so many people tuning in constantly. It's been awesome to have people join us in this fun, because that's what Eurovision is about. We're bringing people together. We're having fun, and then we have for me by Raymond the Hard Drang. Oh, it's ikke være gang bare noe. Hun bare Raymond the Hard Drang. Ikke være gang bare noe gang. I like when they say like fuck hip jump style is a bay. So they just like said fuck hip hop. Oh, here we have the full lyrics that are coming in. Extra mega tempo. I have not the freestyle ability right now as the full effect, but the Danish language is wonderful. This stream has been wonderful. We are rocking out. Do you have some final words to add to the stream?
Final words. I mean, first of all, thank you for having me again. I've never done a live video before, so this has been so much fun, and I'll definitely do it again. And like you say, thank you to people who've actually watched us and commented throughout the whole thing. Very much appreciated. Love that. Thank you, guys. And yeah, I can't wait now to actually watch these semi-finals live and find out what happens. Because like we've said, it is looking like a really good group overall. So I can't wait.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I think that we're all going to have a great time. And I also think it's important to look at this, like, as we're talking about, okay, will our favorites advance? Like, everybody who's made it to that stage now has won. This is a victory in itself. And it is so wonderful to see all these artists getting the recognition they deserve. And it's absolutely lovely. And hopefully all our favorites will qualify, as long as our favorites are Sedisani with Eat Your Salad. This has been wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Have a great evening to you as well.
Thank you.
And then also at the top of the description, if you haven't subscribed to LauraVision, what are you doing? You go down there, you subscribe right now, and you have an awesome rest of your week. Enjoy everything that's happening tomorrow. The Eurovision season is full of hype, and this is the most wonderful time of the year. So let's enjoy it and let's party.
Until the next year.
Yeah. We're going to be living off this Eurovision for so long. This is historic, iconic, lovely, and it should have never ended. But next week, we have a winner.
I know.
OMG.
And then we think about where will we go next year?
Yeah.
Athens, maybe.
Maybe
UK,
the moon.
maybe.
Maybe the moon. Subwoofer.
Yes.
Bring it to the moon.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah. There's so many, like, I feel like there's so many countries who haven't hosted, who has the opportunity now. And it's going to be so good. And just because of how high quality it is, Sweden, I wouldn't be upset if you won, because you nail the hosting. But
yeah, I'd love to go to Sweden.
Yeah, it would be epic. And I also, just to put it out into the universe, I really want the Eurovision from Moldova. So she's now, get ready, because the hype train is going from Turin to you, and we're hosting Eurovision there next year. Because hey ho, let's go folklore and rock and roll.
Rock and roll, best combination ever.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye guys, thank you.